First thing I would like to do with everyone is just explain the depth of the conversation that we have to have. It's not something like, this is, I can come into this just any way that I want. If I'm going to tell the truth about things, then I'm going to have a conversation that digs deep into history, digs deep into the astral planes, and in order to get the proper data that's necessary to really answer the question, or else you're going to have a lot of missing links. But in order to do this, though, you get into topics that I would say would be a little touchy for certain individuals, and I just call them the touchy subjects. So I have more or less a technique that I've been talking about developing, and I want to utilize it today. And it's really how to, instead of looking at things from your own perspective of where you're at and what you've experienced in this life, pulling out of the body, out of the earth, and then even out of the immediate galaxy, and then taking a look at it from that perspective, because I'd like to encourage everyone here today to know that you are souls. The body is definitely experienced. There are multiple bodies and multiple experiences that you have lived, but when it comes to understanding your origin points, or what we call like the soul point, the coalescing of all of your energy, then it's important for you to identify with your soul more so than identifying with some sequential or multiple experience in what we can now call a matrix, but was originally more of an organic womb. And so we're also talking about a story that has been transitioning over time. This is not like I can say one thing and that thing hold 2,000 parsecs from now. We are not a life form that is just remaining the same. We are constantly evolving. There's things going on around us. There are beings making decisions. We're making decisions. And based on that, we get our futures. We get the next level of our comprehension to our experience. And so it's important today for us to see the metamorphosis, because we do have individuals resonating certain energies in our environment now, or representing certain signs, certain symbols now. And that is what it's been turned into due to its, in a sense, owners, or the ones who have taken ownership of the mark. In itself, we have to understand that all words, all symbols are used to divide. It's used to actually distinguish on physical dimensions one thing from another. But outside of this hypercube, outside of this matrix, there is a world where there's no separation. It's so supreme totality. So we need to get familiar with living in these matrices and all the stuff that goes on here, and how to exact a mastery over oneself. That way you can master your matrix. And then also understanding that outside of this, all is self. So there's no opponents, there's nothing to talk to, there's no words, there's no division. It's an infinite energy source of limitlessness. And it scares most people, I will tell you, because they don't realize when they come in front of something that they're afraid of, but it's still them, if they divide themselves from it, then they actually make an opponent or enemy. It's best to keep all what you think is an opponent inside, because that's where it originally exists at. There is a battlefield in our mind, body, and soul. There are hemispheres that are constantly going back and forth with each other through decisions and even through chemical processes, but that actually is generating energy. So we have to see how motors, pistons, wheels, these kind of things move off the two opposing poles. So, that's where we're going to get started today. So I just want to tell everyone, just jump out of the body for a minute and look at what I'm also seeing in this reality, because the thing is that I don't have time to get up here. I'm not trying to sell any books. I don't need anything from anyone. What's necessary is that this information has to get transmitted to individuals who can look at it themselves and say, okay, I can see the connection in that, because it's self-evident. You'll find it in nature. You'll find it in the cosmos. You'll find it in your body. That's how you know you're dealing with truth. And if someone brings something to you and it doesn't resonate on all those different levels, then you know it needs to be examined further. And so obviously some of the stuff that we'll be talking about today is somewhat a fringe, because we'll go into some new topics just to look at how it's evolved. But there's a lot of factual information, especially with these symbols and the symbolism, that I'm going to be able to deliver in truth to what it stands for, because you'll see the redundancies and how it's used in nature.